The Philippines is open to holding joint patrols with the U.S. in the West Philippine Sea. This was confirmed by the country's Department of Foreign Affairs. Moira Encina has the details.
The Philippines and the United States continue to study matters involving joint maritime patrols in the West Philippine Sea. Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo said that in DFA's view, the joint patrols can take place under the RP-US Mutual Defense Treaty. Manalo explained that they're within the context of the Mutual Defense Board and Security Engagement Board.
So I think this is an issue which will be continued to be explored bilaterally. And as I mentioned, there are existing multiple platforms for which the discussions of this nature could be held.
The DFA chief added the defense and security cooperation between the Philippines and the U.S. continue to be the pillars of their bilateral relations.
The cooperation facilitated by all of these existing agreements also extends beyond the traditional security issues of defense and maritime security, but now also include cooperation areas such as terrorism, cybersecurity, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, as well as
In his recent visit to the country, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken assured the Philippines of his country's commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty and its vow to stand with its allies, especially during armed attacks.
That an armed attack on Philippines' armed forces, public vessels, or aircraft in the South China Sea would invoke U.S. mutual defense commitments under that treaty.
Blinken also emphasized the importance of maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, not just for Taiwan, but also for the Philippines and other neighboring countries.
What happens in the Taiwan Strait affects the entire region. In many ways, it affects the entire world because the strait, like the South China Sea, is a critical waterway.
Blinken met with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. over the weekend. The President and Secretary Blinken discussed bilateral efforts to strengthen the alliance between the two nations, such as increased cooperation in energy, trade and investment, climate change, shared democratic values, people-to-people exchanges, and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the DFA also said on Saturday that the Philippines and U.S. governments were working on a potential meeting between President Marcos and U.S. President Joe Biden once Marcos makes his official visit to America. Moira Encina, reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.